So now what I'd like to do is I would like to introduce our host for today. So this is a fabulous facility. As I was driving up today, I always think, I drive Route 1 all the time. I live in this area. I live in Robbinsville, and so I'm all around Mercer County. But the gems that we have right here in Mercer County, the hidden gems, and what a facility like Princeton Plasma Physics does, not just for New Jersey, but for our country, is tremendous. So it is really my pleasure to introduce you to John DeLooper, who is the head of Best Practices and Outreach here at the Princeton Plasma Physics Lab, and John will be doing a tour later today. John, thanks so much for hosting us today.
Thank you. So good morning. Welcome to the Princeton Plasma Physics Laboratory. You can see we have a pretty big mission here at the laboratory. We're trying to create fusion energy. So it's a new way of making electricity that's cleaner than the way we do it currently. We are very concerned about safety here. And so if there is any kind of fire alarm or evacuation, we expect you to go through the back doors, out to the parking lot. That was the upper parking lot here. So this is the building here, out the sidewalk up to that area there. Any emergencies at this facility, we have our own security fire ambulance. Any of the house phones, you dial 3333, or you can dial on a cell phone 609-243-333. So that will get you to any help that is necessary. The other thing from a housekeeping point of view, restrooms are across the way where you entered. So right near the cash machine, they exist there. So a little bit about the laboratory. We are one of 10 national science laboratories. There's 17 DOE laboratories, 10 of them are science laboratories. And we deal with plasma. How many people think we deal with blood? Actually, we do. Twice a year, American Red Cross comes. But plasma is this where we take a gas and we heat it up to the point where we separate the electron from the atom. And now I can do interesting things with it, which I'll show you in a minute. The university, Princeton University, has run this laboratory since 1951. Originally it started with the Atomic Energy Commission, went to ERDA, and is now with the Department of Energy. We are on a 90-acre site, which is part of the James Forrestal campus, and that's where we do our work. You see a picture of the laboratory. Most of you parked here, came in this way. Some of you with the overflow came in through the back. Later this afternoon, when we take a tour, you'll see part of our control room and one of our experimental devices. So just a little bit about our mission in life. The sun, right, exists. That's a big plasma ball. It's actually a fusion reactor also, and it creates energy by fusion. So one of the things we're trying to do is to create a star on Earth, right? We're trying to put this star in a box. The difficulty is the sun does mostly everything with gravity, and we just don't have enough gravity to make that fusion reaction work. So what we have to try and do is to control it with magnetic fields. And what you see here up on top, if you recall, I said a plasma, I separate the electron from the atom. And now if I expose that plasma to a magnetic field, I can get the particles to go around the magnetic field lines. Well, that's nice, but if I just do it this way, they'll end up disappearing on me. So what we do is we put it in a magnetic bottle so that this goes around and it ends up on its tail, so I can control these particles in the experiment. Lots of different magnets to make this happen. And we use hydrogen, primarily deuterium and tritium, to try and make this reaction occur, because that's the easiest way to get to fusion energy. This is a picture of our latest experiment, the National Spherical Torus Upgrade. Later this afternoon, if you're on the tour, you'll be able to come in on the second level and see part of this experiment. Currently, we're down and doing some maintenance on that activity. This is one experiment in the US. MIT has experiments, General Atomic has experiments out in California, but there is an entire international program for fusion energy. And one of the big machines that's currently being developed is ITER. It's being built in the south of France. There's 7 different parties that are putting this together. Just from a size perspective, that's a 6-foot person there, okay? So it will be the first time we actually produce more energy. We've made great progress over time, but it'll be the first time we make more energy than we consume. A couple other things about us. We do spend money. We do buy parts and hardware. And this map shows you our procurement for 2015. We spent roughly $35 million across the US. And specifically within New Jersey, we spent almost $11 million. And the thing I want to point out to you here is we have very specific goals for small business. So if you look at the numbers here, 10 out of 11 were small business firms where we're spending our money, okay? Lots of opportunity out there for you to become a partner with this laboratory to try and do business with us. This is our goals for 17. 45% of our M&S dollars has to go to small business. There are some criteria, right? DUNS number, you got to be in the SAM system, and hub zones have to be certified. But our contact for this is Arlene White, and our external webpage, which is pppl.gov, and then the organization procurement. But you can always find information off of ppl.gov. The other point I want to talk about is technology transfer. We have lots of interesting things that we've done. We've gone from radiation detectors that are looking for dirty bombs and things like that with the US government. We have contracts and licenses with people to try and do a plasma rocket. So there is technology here. It's pretty specialized. But it also spans the thing. We do a lot of heating of our plasmas with radio frequency waves. So one of our engineers was able to come up with a way of pasteurizing eggs using radio frequency waves. So there are opportunities. Laura Bagley is the contact person. And Laura is here today, so if anybody wants to talk to her. And again, the information is off of our ppl.gov organization website. One last thing, we do a number of activities for outreach. Events like this is one example. But we do tours twice a month or by arrangement. So later this afternoon, about 1:30, we will do a tour. We have a program which is called Science on Saturday. It's primarily designed for high school students and above, but we try and bring science to the people. So on a Saturday morning, we fill this auditorium up and we have overflow in the cafeteria. We do give you coffee and bagels, courtesy of the university because I can't spend government funds for that. But there's various topics. We've talked about everything from Ebola to plasma physics. So that guide or that information should be coming out in late December, the particular topics. These are usually sort of some of the latest information going out from the science world. The other thing that we do that's coming up is in March 23rd is our Young Women's Conference. This is primarily for middle school and high school students. We're trying to encourage young ladies to get into science and technology. Originally, we used to have the program here physically at this laboratory. We outgrew the space. We're now over 500 young ladies. If you know of anybody, they got to sign up quickly because we're probably going to close registration within about 2 weeks. The other thing I'll give you is 2 homework assignments for the people who are going to stay for the tour. You will see this movie. It's a PhD comics guide to fusion. You can, again, search our website and find it. And then the other opportunity you have is something called RGDX, which is an actual plasma experiment. We have something similar in the lobby. Some of you played with the plasma device where you can use the horseshoe magnet and move it back and forth. This case here, you can actually establish the pressure of the plasma, the voltage, and there are 2 electromagnets that you can turn on and pinch the plasma. This is part of our education outfit. Most times people have cartoons or some kind of simulation. This is an actual experiment. For our cyber folks, we had to put it outside the firewall so nobody could get inside. But this is where you physically create the plasma there, and it's open to schools and a number of folks that way. So We will be around. There's a number of folks from the laboratory here. Answer any questions, but I'll turn it back.